I ordered the most beautiful 1800s brush and comb set with silver in it from a well-known antiques dealer in 2001. I was so happy with it that I immediately put it out on my dresser. The next morning, my husband told me that he had the most horrible dream, and when he told me about it, I was shocked that it sounded like we had the same dream. Someone, a man in a bowler hat, standing over him, strangling him. I couldn't scream. He couldn't scream. It was the most bizarre collective experience we've ever had. After our initial discussion and shock, we didn't think much about it because what can we do, really? We didn't have any more weird dreams for a few days, but later that same week, our dogs refused to go into the bedroom. This was insane because our dogs always slept with us in our bed. Except now, they would snap at you if you tried to force them. And then the dreams started again. About a week later, I was downstairs while my husband went to bed early with a horrible headache. When I went up to bed, there was the man in the bowler hat bending over my husband, the same man from our dream. He looked at me and instantly disappeared, almost like he glitched away in the blink of an eye, yet I never blinked. The dogs had followed me and they were barking like crazy. When I woke my husband up to tell him what had happened, he told me he was having that same dream. I decided to call my priest, and I told him about what had been going on. He asked me if we'd brought anything new into the home recently, possibly any antiques. I told him nothing except my hairbrush set and that it was from New York, from a reputable dealer. He told me not to sell it because we might give the demon to whoever bought it. Demon. I was speechless. Actually, I was kind of a wreck. After calming me down some, he told me to get a small box and completely fill it with salt so that nothing of the set was touching cardboard, just salt, and then to take it way into the woods and bury it extremely deep. When I told my husband, he got excited and anxious, telling me, "Do you remember when we bought it? There was salt all in the package." He was right. At first I hadn't been sure what it was, but that's exactly what it was. So we hurriedly bought 5 pounds of salt and buried the box deep in the Smoky Mountains where hikers wouldn't find it. I never bought another antique from eBay. We never had another nightmare. Our dogs went back to sleeping with us like nothing happened. And we never saw anything else in that house. It sure made us start praying again, though. When I was a younger, single mother, I really couldn't afford anything new. I would shop at local thrift stores and flea markets in San Antonio. Goodwill was my favorite place, and so were the flea markets. 2, in fact. One was Old Austin Highway Flea Market, and the other one was on Fredericksburg Road. I dream of those places now. But about the mirror, I bought a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, mirror at one of the flea markets. Hand-carved wood, with cherubs, ribbons, cornucopias, and a basket up at the top. All the bells and whistles. I mean, it was gorgeous. And $10. Back then, chicken legs and thighs were selling for 19 cents a pound, and I had a family to feed, so that $10 meant an awful lot, but I couldn't leave the mirror. The man I purchased the mirror from said that it came out of an old home around the Beacon Hill area. I don't know why I remember that detail after all these years, but some memories never fade. Well, I took it home, cleaned the mirror with vinegar and water, and then oiled the wood. I hung it over the fireplace mantel in the living room. I was happy. Everything was all right for about a week, I guess. Then I would start to see dark spots in the mirror. No big deal. It's probably my eyes. Only then they began to swirl, start looking like smoke. They would dissipate when you looked directly at the mirror. I was starting to get worried there, more so because I thought it was my eyes. I thought they were making something manifest in the mirror. Maybe it was allergies. You tend to make these excuses because that stuff happens to other people or in the movies, not you. Hauntings aren't real, right? Well, one very early morning, my son was having a conversation in the living room. I caught him out of bed and I asked what he was doing up so late, as tomorrow was a school day. John, my son, said that he was talking to Abe. That woke me up. What? John says, I was talking to Abraham Lincoln, you know, the man with the big tall hat, but when he saw you coming, he went back into the mirror again. Half dazed, I could only laugh it off as I ushered my son back to bed. Kids and their imaginations, so I thought. I didn't hear any more of this hat man that coming week, but one night, soon afterwards, I found my son in his bedroom, crying and shaking. I asked, John, what's going on? John said that Abe came to his bedroom that night, but that this time, Abe had red eyes. He was asking my son to come with him, that there was a bed he needed to sleep in, to just follow him. He said he didn't want to. He said he had to fight hard to get away from Abe. He was so genuinely shaken up. I told him, don't worry, Mama's gonna sleep with you tonight. I was up all that night. Spirit or no, I was going to beat the living or dead crap of whoever made my son scared. But nothing happened. The following night, same thing. So, my son started sleeping in my room for a few days. After nothing happened for a few days, he went back to sleeping in his room without incident. Sure, I was having nightmares now, but at least my son was okay. 2 days after he started sleeping in his room again, I was folding laundry in his bedroom. I heard a faint knocking. Great, we had little critters in the walls now, I was thinking. So I got up, but without even thinking about it, I was standing in front of the mirror in the living room. I suddenly felt something ice cold rush through my chest, like I inhaled something frozen. Clutching my chest, I saw a column of gray smoke go into the mirror. There was something about the feeling and seeing it happen so clearly that made me sure something was seriously wrong with this mirror. I took that mirror down and I put it on the curb. It was gone within a few minutes. I still slept with my son for a couple of more weeks, asking John if Abe ever came back. He said no. Every so often, I would sneak back into my son's bedroom to see if anything was bothering him. Often, John would find his mama sleeping with him, and that made him happy. He didn't need to know it was because I was scared. No one, and I mean no one, messes with my little cubs. Not then, not now, not ever. It's all a damn shame, though. I sure do miss those flea markets.